God Bless Eli has produced 3 records for Drake. He's worked with PARTYNEXTDOOR, Young Thug, and many more. He's the first Canadian producer to have a joint venture with Warner Music, and he's starting to sign and develop his own act. On top of that, he's a founder of Loophole. Their sounds have been used in big records like Drake and Future's Life is Good, so I asked him to do a free Q&A with the producer community. We do these all the time with award-winning producers. If you want to join the next one, I'll leave a link below. I started off the conversation by asking Eli, what the hell does he do to get 3 Drake records?
It was an accident. I had to like reflect upon it for a couple of years, and it's like immersing yourself into the sound, and that's between like we're using soft pads or certain plugins or certain processes that you used to use back in the day. Because most of the records that I did like for Drake, I could see the similarity of something that maybe in you can see in 100 gigs, like some of the stuff that they use. And for me personally, it was Expand. So a year prior, the song Chicago Freestyle had dropped, and I was just so enamored by like the way that swell was. And I was like, bro, how did they do that? Like I couldn't find a preset that had that effect, which that led to my sound design journey, which obviously bred the whole Loophole thing at the time, making arterial presets, making sound design on one shot. Just that whole world where I feel like it's like a lost art, especially nowadays. I feel like a lot of producers are, I don't want to say spoiled, not to disrespect. I like the efficiency that the producers have, but like they have everything ready made for them. Like metaphorically, in the comfort of your own home, you have like McDonald's secret mac sauce just at your disposal, you know? And this like spiritual synchronicity, like I kept studying that Drake and Giveon song when that turned into another Drake and Giveon song. The second one was kind of just being aware of that and just using the first one to get closer to the guys. Like when you get that first placement, you think it's that's it. In the moment of your big moment, you need to basically slow the seats for another big moment.
You know, when it came to those Drake records and stuff, how do you go about breaking down the key elements of an artist's sound to then be able to take it and then do something that turns it into your own flavor, you know?
In terms of studying songs for someone that's like a non-listener, suggestive things is just like, what kind of common denominators do you hear throughout the music, you know? I studied hard to understand how to hear things by ear. And it's just this particular chords that Drake does. Like, it doesn't matter what it is, what the sound selection is, or what VST he's using, or even if it's an idle sample chop, it's the same chord, or it's at least the same starting chord. Go through like Poppy's Home all the way to like Love All. They're basically the same chord. The 4-3 or 4-6, and those commonalities between each other, as well as the soft pads. You know, Drake's known for pads. Feeling very R&B over like with his rap melodies. But yeah, there's always a common denominator, whether it's between chord progression, tempo, sound selection.
I would love to know who you would like us to have, which producer you want us to have on the next free Q&A. Comment the producer you'd like us to invite below and we'll try and make it happen. And one lucky commenter will win a free copy of our unreleased plugin Spawn. These Q&As are 100% entirely free. Anyone can join them. I pay for them out of my own pockets. So let me know who you want to see below. And if you have the time, I'd really appreciate if you check out Spawn. I'll leave a link below. With our products, we always reinvest back into the producer community with events and workshops just like this, so that you guys can show up, you can get the information and the knowledge that you need to be successful as a producer. Let me know which producer you want to see on the next Q&A, and one lucky winner will get Spawn before it drops in November 1st.
Personally, I got a crazy story. I got a wild story.
What's the story? I want to hear the story.
I come from a group. I used to work with Ninth Wonder a lot. You know, like working with Ninth, and like we had a different type of target. You want to get signed to a label, you want to get this distribution, you want to get all this different stuff, and you want to be the sole producer. Now it's more than one producer on one song. We done seen a lot. In this type of time, which route should the producer go with all the routes we have?
I always speak from the lens of like producers empowering themselves to do multiple things, you know, take a job at having your store, put in content online. And in terms of like the real sauce and where you can really see a lot of success is developing your own artist and being the business behind that and the backbone. A lot of producers, we're resourceful. We do video editing. We have connections to different people. We're having dinners with different resources, connections. We can essentially be our own label. So now I have my venture where things are a little bit more professional. I can approach people correctly. But
can I ask you just a quick question on that? The joint venture that you have, maybe first, if you want to just break down what a JV is, a joint venture to people, but like, I mean, you're the first producer I know that's got a JV, which is crazy. So like, how are you going about developing your artists?
I know. Okay, cool. I mean, JV first and foremost is a business venture partnership between a creative or another entity with a label. The whole aim is label might not have labels are shown to have a pulse on the culture and chase other things other than metrics, which they know that's not working right now. Let's say Jacob's an artist. I like him. I can use Warner's money now to sign him, give him a full record deal, and I oversee his whole career. And that's where like a lot of this money is made in this industry. A lot of money that they don't show you is made on the master sides. If you have homies that develop artists independently and they blew them up, you'll learn very fast. Oh, that's why the label will keep offering deals, even if they're not technically making money. In terms of like what doesn't exist, like I want to find a Britney Spears type of artist. I want to find like a black country singer. You know what I mean? Like just something just that's just like interesting, not just straightforward. We see and then like, oh, this is a major label act. This is a major label thing to make great music. So. Great. That's your question.
We'll be looking for you to sign the next death metal act, you know?
Hell yeah.
D, you want to ask your question, bro?
So first of all, my name's D-Ace. I'm an artist producer. I'm originally from Houston. I took your sound design course on Loophole. Are you guys ever gonna do? I remember looking at your site and seeing that
classes.
Yeah, that's where it's at, man. Like to be able to make your own samples, and sound design and putting all that together, man. So. Yeah, that's my question.
And I appreciate that. And yeah, I'm working right now, just kind of disclosing what we're working on. Partnering with Mighty Networks. It's like a learning platform, Discord, all in one, where it's like a full between the ear training stuff and getting the best people in that world. Whatever it is to be successful as a producer, kind of helping people strategize over social media and just like this full, robust school.
Can I actually just chime in off of that? Because you brought it up with the business stuff and Loophole. Number one, maybe you could just break down what Loophole is. And then number two, maybe you could just talk on that. I always talk about it myself, but the importance of the business when you're being a producer. I love to call it entre-producer, because like that entrepreneurship as well as being a producer.
I believe just generally like business are here to help change the world and push the boundaries of what life is. Some people don't like to think that, but I like to think that personally. Loophole started off as like we were trying to make type samples and revolutionize that. And luckily the owner, he's from the culture and actually cares about the culture. He did it right. I was thinking, okay, Loophole is going to be like the loophole into getting everything you want. That's the name, but kind of evolved into the presets because it was actually a conversation with Nick Mira or my homie Repco from Internet Money at that time. And they're like, man, everybody keeps talking about Arturia and analog labs and analog synths, but they're kind of trash. I was like, wait, what do you mean they're kind of trash? Like, they don't sound good. I'm like, bro, but like, it's like the meat and potatoes of all the sounds that you love. Like, what are you talking about trash? I was starting to become a little bit familiar with the market of like one shots and Omnisphere presets, Pulse is going crazy, a bunch of other people, obviously Internet Money people. And I'm like, bro, like, there's no Arturia presets, and no one knows how to do this. So that's what's like our first product. And when we kicked it off, it went crazy. The business made itself. Like the demand was there, and after there's like a lot of learning on the way. Music entrepreneurship is like everything within the space. Even developing an artist, I believe, is like some sort of entrepreneurship, right?
How do you get your foot in the door, like in the industry? Like, how do you make like that first big connection that actually like leads to something?
For me, what was like a big push was being at Frank Duke's studio in Toronto, HOB, and doing the Kingsway stuff for his platform. Like it was definitely like on the business side more for him, and I'm working for him almost like an independent contractor kind of thing. That helped build my name and leverage within the industry and help me able to take things further. I could have always put on my own site, but to do it for him, it's just like,
I've been producing for over 20 plus years, bro. But my thing is my networking. That's the only thing that I do have problems with, because I'm not usually in the realm of things. I'm usually on the outside looking in.
Yeah, but it's like the mixers and stuff, and find a way to provide value in terms of like, even for me, it's just like, it has to be some sort of value for me. Like that's just like how life is. See where someone needs help, even if it's being a studio assistant, even if it's intern or whatever. Obviously, make sure there's value for yourself as well. Like,
Exactly.
can't just do things like completely for free if you don't, if that's not what your life calls for.
As far as being a producer or a musician in general, what is your biggest takeaway as far as progression? How do you progress every day as a producer?
Personally, I treat this shit like I'm Kobe. Like, what I mean by that is I'm obsessive. I try to be the first in the room, last to go kind of person. It's a lifestyle. Everything I do is like revolving music. If it's a party I go to, if I ever were to step out, it's music related or music people's there who I want to meet. If it's not, I'm not going. It's just being obsessive. That's how you progress every day. In terms of like when I did formulate kind of like a routine and like my own personal curriculum, it was split between theory and hard skills, soft skills in terms of reading to know how to like talk to people, maneuver, and just workflow, mastering your workflow, mastering like key commands, mastering like efficiency on FL Studio or Ableton, and okay, cool. Once I master that and I'm good at past a certain point that I see, okay, the best are using, I move on to mixing. Okay, what is mixing and mastering? How does that look? And they all crossbreed with each other in terms of mastery, itself.
So I've been working with an artist this year locally and building their sound and everything. How would you approach like breaking an artist out in this time, like now? Like, how would you go about it?
Content is good, but like, it's how you do your content. I think breaking an artist these days, like, especially in the R&B space, is like this vocal modulation thing, where it's like Kari does it good for Kari, and like doing those type of models, Isaiah Falls, Four Bats. Sonically, you want to have the right industry things in order, so the right distribution channel. DistroKid's not enough, I would say use Two Loss. I think like they're just like, in terms of independent distribution, they're crushing it. If you connect with someone, the A&R representative or somebody close on that team, you'll get a higher chance of being pushed, a higher chance of being playlist. Make sure you submit on Spotify for artists consistently. Like, okay, every drop.
The other question I had was, as far as like the music industry, where do you see it going and what do you see it lacking?
It lacks a lot.
Like,
communication, education, artist development, but where I see it going, damn, I think it's gonna be a little bit ugly for the next year and a half, as the world looks ugly right now. I ain't gonna lie to you. Fuck with the music industry, the world's looking kind of ugly. There's gonna be a lot of reform. A lot of reform means a lot of people gonna be fighting in high positions. I do see in a little bit more brighter side, this is the age of segmented artists, and independent artists, undiscovered artists are more cooler than major label artists. I think we all feel that. Finding a gem, so a lot of artists, undiscovered artists, don't have a chance to blow up, build some traction, get noticed and recognized, build a team around that, as people are getting fired, trying to find a new gig and formulate their own smaller labels,
Big thanks to God Bless Eli. I'd love for you to join our next free Q&A. I'm gonna leave a link below. And let us know which producer you want us to invite to the next Q&A, and we'll try and make that happen. One lucky commenter will win Spawn. I go by my best friend Jacob. I'll see you again soon.